Hi guys, Alfonso Gomez, your realtor. Just wanted to take a moment and talk to you guys about an issue that comes up here and now when I'm helping people that are renters and landlords. The cannabis marijuana topic. Yes, everybody's favorite topic. So I get a lot of questions about it, and so I wanted to share with you some information I have. I want to disclose to you, I am a licensed real estate broker. I'm licensed in the state of California. I am not an attorney. I am not giving you legal advice. I'm just simply giving you information that I have about landlords and tenants. And hopefully it's helpful to you in your situation, whether you're a landlord, whether you're a tenant. So let's go ahead and get started. One thing that you need to know, in California, the personal use of marijuana is legal. And apparently with medical cards, it's also legal. So again, for personal use, it is legal. Federally, though, in the eyes of the federal law, the use of marijuana is illegal. And that's important to remember, especially after I read the first couple of questions, and you're going to start to get a recurring theme. You're going to catch on that the use of cannabis, aka marijuana, is illegal federally. All right, here we go. So here are some FAQs I want to share with you. Question number 1. Can a residential landlord prohibit smoking of marijuana for personal use by a tenant in a rented premises? Can the landlord say, hey, you cannot smoke marijuana? The answer is yes. If the lease prohibits smoking of marijuana or tobacco. Even if the lease did not have that explicit prohibition on smoking, the landlord can probably still prohibit smoking of marijuana as it is illegal use under federal law. There it is. Next question. Is a residential tenant with a medical need for marijuana entitled to smoke marijuana in a property as a reasonable accommodation for disability, even though there is a prohibition in the lease or rental? Okay? All right, very good. So if you have a disability and you have medical needs to smoke marijuana, are you entitled to smoke it? The answer is probably not. Okay? Use of marijuana is a violation of federal law. Again, there it is again. There is no exemption for medical purposes to accommodate a disability. Further, under federal statutes, a user of illegal drugs is not considered an individual with a disability. There you go. That's the technical answer. Next question. Does a residential landlord have a right to evict a tenant for smoking or growing marijuana for personal use by a tenant in the rented premises? So if the landlord comes and collects his rent, sees a big old pot of marijuana, well, I guess it can't be that big if it's going to be only for personal use, can he evict you? The answer is yes. If lease prohibits use of marijuana, even if the lease does not have an explicit prohibition, the landlord can probably still evict on the basis of using the premise for an illegal purpose, since both smoking and growing cannabis are still illegal under federal law. Oh, that federal law will get you. Okay, next question. Will a California court permit a landlord to evict based on federal law, even if such use is legal in California? The answer, we don't know. There is no case study in California, so it is unknown. So that's interesting. Think about it. If the landlord says to you, I'm going to kick you out because you're growing, a little pot of cannabis. I'm going to evict you because federal law says it's illegal. They go to court, and the judge looks at the landlord and says, why are you evicting him? And he says, well, because of federal law. Well, you got to remember, he's going to the, county courthouse. So that'd be interesting to see what the courts are going to say on that. Next question. Can a landlord require a tenant, even one with a disability, to pay for reasonable modifications to the physical improvements, such as an increased ventilation system, as a necessary accommodation, as a precondition to allow smoking of marijuana in the premises? Sorry, that's a long question. So at the end of the day, would the landlord pay for modifications to be able to grow marijuana? So can a landlord require a tenant to pay? So can the landlord require the tenant to pay for reasonable accommodations? Most likely, yes. Tenants with disabilities are required to pay for reasonable modifications to the physical structure needed to accommodate disability. Okay? All right, next question. May a residential landlord deny a lease or rental to a tenant who has a valid medical marijuana card? So you're walking around with a valid medical marijuana card, and you tell the potential landlord, hey, I have one of these. Can he say, no, you can't rent here because of that? The answer? Probably not, especially if the tenant agrees to be bound by the restrictions on smoking. Okay, cool, fair enough. 2 more questions. May a residential landlord deny a lease or rental to a tenant who works for a dispensary? Okay, so my job is I work for the cannabis store, whatever. And can they deny you for that? Answer? Probably not. In California, it is illegal to discriminate based on source of income. However, this law presumes legal income. The sale of marijuana is legal in California. However, since it is not under federal law, the answer is unclear. This is why attorneys make so much money. I'm not an attorney. All right, here we go. Last question. If one person's lease rental does not prohibit smoking, can another tenant object? I'll read that again. If one person's lease or rental does not prohibit smoking, can another tenant object? So let's say you have 3 units, 4 units, 10 units, apartment complex. One tenant, no smoking, the other tenant smoking. Well, the one with no smoking, can he object to the guy that is smoking? The answer? Probably not. But if another tenant has a disability aggravated by smoke, and the smoking tenant has a medical reason for smoking, the landlord must engage in dialogue to try and reach an accommodation that is satisfactory to the needs of all parties with disabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, here's my golden rule for these landlord-tenant issues. Make peace. Speak professionally, speak reasonably. Reasonable people typically come to reasonable solutions. Talk, sit down, have a nice conversation, and typically you can get through almost anything. Okay? I hope this information was of use to you or someone you know, whether you're a tenant, whether you're a landlord. So I don't do that many rentals. I typically only do a handful, if that. But, I am a licensed real estate broker, so I can help rentals and sales and lots and apartments and units. So I'm more than happy to be a resource to you or anyone you know that is interested in anything real estate. So I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something, and I hope it was valuable. So, Alfonso Gomez, your realtor, looking forward to closing my next deal with you.